Once upon a time, in a land whose name has faded from memory, there ruled a king, wise, powerful, adored. His kingdom flourished. His throne sat high upon a mountain of gold. And his name was spoken like a sacred flame. But names, you see, are fragile things. One day, burdened by wars he didn't want to fight, treaties he didn't believe in, and a crown that felt heavier with each sunrise, the king vanished. He left behind his court, his armor, and even his name, carved into stone. With only a cloak and walking staff, he wandered into the northern forest, a place where maps turned silent, and compasses spun like dancers in fog. It was said that no man who entered the forest ever returned the same. Some claimed it was cursed. Others said it was alive. But the king, tired of voices and victories, hoped it was simply quiet. Days passed. Then weeks. The forest did not judge him. It asked nothing. It simply was. He drank from hidden springs, ate wild berries, and lay beneath trees older than time. Birds perched on his shoulder without fear. Deer approached as though recognizing something forgotten. And slowly, the name once shouted in battle began to dissolve. He could no longer recall the sound of it. Not the first letter. Not the last. And oddly, he didn't mourn its loss. Because without a name, he no longer had to be anything. Not a ruler. Not a warrior. Not even a man of history. He was just breath in the mist. A soul stripped to silence. Then, one evening, as the sky wept golden tears of sunset, he met a child. She stood barefoot by a stream, weaving flowers into her hair. Her eyes were deep and knowing, far older than her years. "Are you lost?" she asked gently. "No," the man said, though he wasn't sure it was true. "What's your name?" she asked. He paused, and smiled. "I had one once. But I gave it back to the world." The girl considered this. "That sounds like something a king would say." He chuckled. "I was a king. But now, I am just a whisper in the woods." She reached out and took his hand. "Then come. The forest remembers everyone, even those who forget themselves." She led him through the trees, deeper than he had ever gone. To a clearing where the moon hung like a guardian, and stones stood in ancient circles, humming with time. There, others stood waiting. Not people. Not quite spirits either. They were beings, luminous, ageless, each with faces calm as stars. The girl turned to him. "Here," she whispered, "no one has a name. Only essence. Only truth." And as she let go of his hand, the forest around him pulsed with breath. The man who had once been king closed his eyes. And for the first time in his life, he felt seen. Not for his crown. Not for his title. But for the light he carried beneath the weight of it all. Back in the kingdom, legend spread. That the king had been taken by the woods. That he had gone mad. That he had died nameless and alone. But none of those stories were true. He had not been lost. He had been found, in the only place that asked nothing of him but his presence. Sometimes, when the wind rustles through northern trees, villagers say they hear a voice. It does not speak in words. But in warmth, and stillness, and peace. And those who hear it often feel lighter afterward, as if a burden they couldn't name had quietly lifted. Because the forest never forgets. Even those who give up their names.